Hi there, I'm Dilwyn Roberts, former TV production manager, media lecturer and one-third of the Emma and Elwyn trio which graced our night spots during the 1970s and 80s.
And I'm Hugh Roberts, local musician, songwriter, author, playwright, and have been following and been involved with the music scene in Colwyn Bay and the surrounding area for decades.
And we're here to take you on a whistle-stop journey of recollections and memories of the music and entertainment enjoyed in Colwyn Bay over the years.
Music in the Bay, a podcast from Bayside Radio.
In the last episode, we enjoyed memories of Theatre Colwyn and the part it played in introducing us to the musical entertainer Gary Wilmot. We recalled the days of the Vespers and the Lambrettas all lined up on Station Road, and the excitement when the Radio 1 Roadshow came to Colwyn Bay. Not once, but twice. In this episode, we move to the present and hear from the local musicians who are making their mark on the local and online music scene. Here's my colleague Hugh Roberts to tell you more.
Thanks, Dilwyn. I'm here with Simon from The Breakfast Show on Bayside Radio, and we're talking about what music is available in the area, particularly for younger people. We know there's a huge desire for young people to be able to play music in the area, and we're going to have a chat about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because every morning I get lots of messages from young people making music, and we have a load of parents, and also clubs and organisations who say, look, we recorded with XYZ, and would you like to play the song on the radio? And it's great to do it, but I feel that things have changed maybe an awful lot since the old days, because you used to be reliant on radio airplay or going to nightclubs or venues to get the music out there. But I'm increasingly finding out about all sorts of different ways for the music to get out there, like Spotify, surfacing it online, making YouTube videos. It's incredible, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, it was literally only been available the last 10 years or something like that, maybe 15 tops. And but it's just an outlet for all musicians of any age, really. But you find young people are really savvy around it. Yeah. And they see the opportunities, because it's perfectly natural for them to put up, wacky little TikTok introductions to the music that's coming out, and then, sending people to Spotify or whatever. People, they're pretty smart, these young kids, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and what sort of struck me as I've been sort of getting the messages in is that whilst they make the videos and they get the stuff onto the likes of TikTok, there's also a big science around the marketing through the social media and the use of hashtags, the use of certain groups. There's playlists as well. I mean, I was talking to one young person who says that there's all sorts of different playlists, and you can add your music to these playlists on Spotify, and you can surface them, presumably not just to fans, which are kind of important because you want the engagement, but also potentially to record producers and people in the industry.
Yeah, and the people in the industry are watching this stuff, are listening to this stuff. The main problem you got really is there's so many people around the world doing it.
Yeah.
It's not like you're looking, marketing just to your local audience. So you become a bit of a pixel on a screen, really. There might be, I don't know how many musicians and bands are out there, maybe 400 million. I mean, I'm not even, around the world if you think about it.
Yeah.
And, I'm a writer as well. So my novel is an ebook on Amazon, and there's 4 million ebooks on Amazon.
Yeah,
and that's just Amazon,
Yeah.
So there's so many people trying to do this stuff. That's the difficulty. So they're becoming increasingly inventive around how they approach it. And it's quite interesting to see. I watch a lot of it on myself, on my laptop, and I'm a dinosaur, really.
It must be difficult because if everything is so I won't say cluttered, but you've got so many people vying for attention. As you say, you have to be quite creative to do that. So in a sense, the creative process of making music today is not just about making a tune, is it? It's about being, well, I won't say jack of all trades, because some of these people are incredibly talented across the board, but you have to have so many skills, don't you?
Yeah, it's not just being able to play the guitar now. I see some quite funny things on TikTok and that, where bands, and they're not always particularly young bands, but they're banging out these 30-second videos of just silly little bits and pieces, and when they're rehearsing or whatever, and keeping that consistent as well. So half the time, if you're not careful, you spend more time on social media than you do actually in the rehearsal studio.
I suppose, though, as I've been talking to some of the groups and having a chat to people, the technology has made the sort of the production of music a little bit easier in a sense, and maybe there is a little bit more time to be able to spend on the promotion of it. I'd
imagine so. Yes, I mean, again, when I first started playing music a long time ago, you'd have to stick things on tapes and then edit tapes together, which is ludicrous if you think about it now. I've got myself up to speed with that sort of thing. But then there's lots of initiatives like the underground artist movement that we've talked about, who are there to teach people. Yeah. And that's great, because that was never really there before unless you went to a music college,
Yeah, and that's quite incredible. Now, it's a project based in Colwyn Bay, isn't it? And it's run by a gentleman called Kenny Clayton.
Yeah. From what I know, well, first of all, it's about 20 foot away from where we're sitting, isn't it? Right in Rue Road, as part of the new community hub. And Kenny is a very smart guy, and he's worked in a lot of inner cities and done a lot of youth work over the years. And he's particularly keen on the music side of things. And he approached Together for Colwyn Bay about funding a recording facility and recording equipment within the hub. As part of the underground artist movement, or UAM, as they go by. Yeah. And Together for Colwyn Bay bought, I think it's about £15,000 worth of studio equipment, which is a significant amount of studio equipment, and they've just recently installed it, and they are running workshops for kids. Anybody, I'd imagine, but kids that are showing them how to mix tracks and how to record tracks. A lot of it, I think, is hip-hop and rap-based, because a lot of the young kids are into that now. But yeah, it's a brilliant facility, and I'm really encouraged by it, and it's bang in the centre of town, which is awesome,
And it's great to have places for young people to go as well, and if we can hook them into the music scene, that's even better, isn't it?
Yeah.
I did actually have a little glance round a couple of weeks ago, and I did speak to the guys about what goes on there. Let's hear a bit of that interview. Hi, Callum.
Hello, how are we?
Shane, hello there.
Hello.
How you doing? And Kenny.
Yep, hi guys.
Who I've been talking to for a long time about this, and it's great to actually see it.
It's nice
now in
for
live.
you to come in and see the end result, which is what we've been.
Well, I thought instead of getting you guys to Bayside to have our chat this morning, we would come to you and find out what it's all about. So
that's great, yeah.
I think it's a really good starting point, Kenny, just to find out a little bit about what UAM stands for and what this is all about.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. A lot of people said when we were doing the original design for the logo, what is UAM? What does it stand for? Do you want to put it down? It stands for Underground Artist Movement. We want to help people from the underground, from grassroots level, and we're creating a movement. But the whole point was to put a hype out with the stickers and with the logo of what is that? What is UAM? Is it a soccer pitch? What is it? It creates this hype of, I'm curious.
Yeah.
And I think we've definitely captured people's curiosity with it.
Absolutely, because I've seen the signs for many, many months, and I've thought, what's going on there? So when you say underground, are we talking about musicians making music at home or in venues? What's the premise to like the underground movement then?
Okay, so I think a lot of artists that I've worked with, the bedroom artists, and that becomes the underground scene, is that they don't have a hub they go to. They record stuff out the bedroom, they put it online, and that becomes a scene. And I think what we've done is create a base where these creatives can come out of the bedroom now, meet other creatives, and we can all share ideas, which is what we've been doing from day one.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Because we're working on a podcast at the moment talking about the history of music in Colwyn Bay. And our third episode, which probably this little bit now is actually appearing in that third episode, which is all about, well, we've made the music in the past and we've all gone down to venues like pubs and clubs and we've performed on stage. And I know that still happens, really important. And I know it happens here at the Community Hub under your guys. But there is a lot of stuff that goes off online. And I think the older generation thinks that there's no music scene going on, but that is absolutely wrong, isn't it?
I think Callum's best to answer that in that sense.
Well, yeah, I think it's difficult to come to a studio, especially when it comes to hip hop and rap, because even in like the bars and pubs scene, it's difficult to go there to an open mic and do your rap song.
Rap, it's not the scene for it.
Is that because there's quite a lot of technical aspects to making that happen, to create that music?
I just don't think the atmosphere would be conjunctive with...
Right.
So when you have open mic nights, they're normally a singer-songwriter or a band.
Yeah.
And so as rap, it's not seen as something you go in the pub and do unless they were putting on a hip-hop night. Mm-hmm. So there, one a year maybe you might get if you're lucky.
Right.
And then, obviously, you're not practicing your craft. You're not getting better. You're not finding your scene. So a lot of the time, a lot of hip-hop artists will just throw it up online somewhere.
Right.
And... that's kind of how I think we all started. That's how we started, Shado.
You asked me for my heart, but I got too many scars. I know we're falling apart, but I'm used to feeling dark. You asked me for my heart, but I got too many scars. I know we're falling apart, but I'm used to feeling dark. Drown my sorrows in this bottle. It's like life has gone full throttle. I never once turned to the Bible, but God, do I wanna see tomorrow? Drown my sorrows in this bottle. It's like life has gone full throttle. I never once turned to the Bible, but God, do I wanna see tomorrow? I know your love is strong, but I just can't hold on. You've done nothing wrong. I've been hurting for too long. You asked me for my heart, but I got too many scars. I know we're falling apart, but I'm used to feeling dark. You asked me for my heart, but I got too many scars. I know we're falling apart, but I'm used to feeling dark. I never wanted to feel this pain. I'm crying in the pouring rain. How could I be so damn vain? I'm losing her all over again. I never wanted to feel this pain. I'm crying in the pouring rain. How could I be so damn vain? I'm losing her all over again. You asked me for my heart, but I got too many scars. I know we're falling apart, but I'm used to feeling dark.
Well, Shado, we just did an interview with Shado before, and we asked how you got started. And so you were recording on the voice recorder on his iPhone.
Right.
Syncing that with some online software, and then making music that way, and put it out.
Well, obviously, when I first started making music, I was using my phone, and that felt kind of like the normal to me. Like, I wasn't used to using anything else. I hadn't seen anything else I could use. So when I went to college for the first time, and I saw all this studio, this big booth.
Wow, it was like being in dreams.
It was like a dream, yeah. It's like, wow, like
all these buttons.
Yeah, all these. It's just this massive mixing desk with so many levels. You've got like 15 levels there they don't even use. Like,
I can imagine you walking in just going,
yeah,
put them all up.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like a really nice eye opener. It was like, I can use proper equipment now, and I can release on Spotify and stuff because my music is going to be at a great level. Like,
and I suppose that sort of goes back to what I was saying about, you know, the underground music is taking on a new sort of persona for today, whereas the older generation goes, oh, it's not in a pub, it's not happening there, it's not happening, but it is happening, isn't it? And it's happening on Spotify, YouTube, on those channels as well. So you put a lot of your creations up onto Spotify.
Me and MES Academy both release on Spotify and all other platforms too. It was something that came around when I was in college. I didn't think of releasing on Spotify when I was recording at home, because I thought, just post on Instagram or just release it on YouTube because it's just simple, it's there. But Spotify was like the first thing that hit me, where I was like, I could possibly make some music off this, doing something I love and earn royalties from it.
Is it a good way for a new artist to sort of get showcased so that recording studios and other artists can say, oh, hang on, that's really good. There's an up and coming star here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Spotify. Like when you release, you get put into algorithms and you get added into like Spotify playlists, and I've been added to a few like radio playlists and stuff like that on Spotify, and the more playlists you get added into, the more listens you'll get all the time.
I think as well it's key to put music out there, because if you're not putting music out there, no one knows.
No one knows. You're just doing it in your bedroom. Nobody knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest, none of this would have happened if any of us hadn't put music out, because we just wouldn't have known we did it.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been looking at the story of Youngblood and how he sort of got his profile, and he was making music in that sort of environment, and he got a massive break. America love him to death, and yet Dominic says, well, I didn't know that 4 or 5 years on that I would be like selling out the stadiums.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
You've got to be in it to win it. You've got to at least put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
To get the opportunities to come to you.
Absolutely. And years ago the music scene was you would go into a studio, they would record with you, they maybe give you like a second album. But now, because of the marketing costs and the real difficulties breaking through in quite a fragmented market.
And I think that's where the underground scene comes in.
This is where you have to get it out there, and you have to do something that's maybe a little bit unique and different from everyone, but it's all about the effort you put in, and I kind of guess the marketing on social and all of that as well.
The socials are huge for it. It's, we met up with Creu College yesterday with their media department, and they're going to come on board to help us with our social media, with our TikTok accounts, with our YouTube accounts, with our headshots, and these are things that they take a lot of time. And as an artist, you've got to do it all. You've got to do all of that as well as learn your craft. And so it's a full-time job essentially, whilst you're not getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you get a break and you get the gigs as well, that's a great position.
I think what we're trying to sort of show people as well is that you don't have to have a number one to be successful in music.
Yeah.
So there's so many different avenues you can go down. Now we do workshops here. We're running our numeracy for development workshop. We're running of a under 18 studio. There's teachings in schools, and we can bring people along for that and pay them to go in and they can pass on their knowledge through the medium of music without it being a number one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can have lots of benefits as well. So making music can be great for mental health, brings you into the community. You have a love of music, that is your community. But as you were saying to me, Kenny, it serves all sorts of purposes, because you were telling me about in Wrexham that you're going to Wrexham, where there might be a little bit of an issue with some racism. So you're going in to create an awareness of what music can do, and
essentially.
All of that.
So the Multicultural Hub in Wrexham got in touch with us, and they'd had some racist incidents in schools, and they asked if we could go in and do a workshop around that. The beauty of music and rap especially is the topic can be anything. So it's rhythm and poetry. We're just putting words over a rhythm, and so therefore the topic can be anything. So we did it on racism, and the way we did this was to get the young people to pick a letter from A to Z, and say they got A, they'd pick a country with that letter, say Angola, and from Angola they then pick 5 facts about that country. So once the whole class had then done all their countries, and then they stood up and said, I've got Angola, and the national dress is this, the national food is this is their language, that's how you say hello, this is the national animal. And then we learned so many different things about these different cultures. And then we left with, wouldn't that be great if that was on your doorstep, all these beautiful things about this high life?
What a great way of doing it as well, because with rap and I guess repetition and all of that, you can deliver a message that might be quite difficult to actually deliver in a kind of in a classroom environment, I guess.
Yeah, the good thing was we left it quite open for the young people to put their own mark on it, and we were quite surprised with the feedback they came back with and the words they were putting into the poetry. They really hit the task head on, and they talked about a world which there was no differences, and how people all got along together, and we didn't put those ideas in their head. We just said the topic is racism, and they came out with this, and it was great to see.
That's really good. And you mentioned that you are also involved in other projects, like I think you're working with Coleg Llandrillo on the numeracy project as well. So tell me a bit about that.
So we've been given a 10-week course which is numeracy for development. And the plan with that is to work out how numbers go into music. So we've been doing 10-week workshop on 4/4 timing, eighths timing and 16ths timing, cadence, flow, syllable counts, and it was a really good received workshop. And then at the end of the 10 weeks, we bring in a guest artist. So we've just finished our one last week for the 10 weeks. We brought in Black Ice from Manchester, and he came down and delivered his workshop. And the good opportunity with that is we brought Callum in as an associate for this one.
Yeah.
And so myself and Martin Dawes were running the programme, and then we bring one of our associates from UAM and give them a trial through it. So Callum's been working with us for the last 10 weeks on the workshops.
Yeah, I did Cadence. That was the workshop that I worked on. And it's funny because music, obviously the theme of it was numeracy, but we could just run the workshop really, and it's all embedded in it. So it's like we were just rapping.
It was a good hangout. We all got to mix with each other, I think. And we got to swap flows and styles and learn about different creative styles.
Community feel. That's what it feels like.
It was community. I'm glad you said that.
It's also like a thing of, it's crazy, like, you don't realise, like, how often math comes up into your day-to-day life.
No.
I never really focused in school because I didn't know how to focus. I wasn't a textbook learner, you'd call it. So I didn't really focus on maths. But doing something like music has brought like my maths level up because I've been working with numbers for so long now. And you learn something new. Every day's a learning day. So
it was a great way to hide the learning in with it. And essentially, we'd have met up every week just to have that chat about music anyway. So that was nice that we could do this. But we could give the opportunities to our associates to learn about the teaching so that we can build up a team of practitioners to go out and deliver these workshops around.
So I guess the question for me now is that if some organisation from North Wales or an educational establishment wants to use your services, very often you can figure out and devise a plan to help them deliver their message, I guess.
Exactly. We've had meetings with Conway Employment Hub about doing some confidence workshops about employability skills. So it really is, the topic can be anything. And it's not necessarily just focused on rap as such, it's about the community feel that goes with it. People that haven't even done rap before can attend our sessions, learn about rap and learn about the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, fantastic. So guys, Callum, so what's your sort of aspiration now? So what do you want to get out of working with UAM, and personally, what are you looking to do?
Well, 2 years ago I was in Manchester. I was getting my MA in music production, and I thought to pursue music I'd have to leave Colwyn Bay. UAM has sort of given me a home at home where I can do music, and I'm going to be the in-house producer here, so I'm hopeful we're going to make some banging tunes.
Oh, brilliant.
And that's it. And I'd like to be involved in going to the schools, practicing, because I enjoyed doing the workshop. So
brilliant. And Shane, how about you? What's the future hold for you then?
Well, it's very similar like aspect. I was in college studying music and technology. I did my level 2, then I went on to level 3. I was on my last year of level 3 until I left, because I thought to myself, like, I'm going through all this education, and I'm going to be going to university, and like I have to move away, and I'm not comfortable moving away yet. I'm not done with Colwyn Bay. Like I'm not done with like living here and being with my family and stuff like that. I'm still quite young
and making a contribution as well.
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly. So when I found out UAM was a thing, it kind of like it gave me that hope I was looking for. It was really like it was just hopeful.
Brilliant. Well, I think there'll be a lot of people feeling exactly the same, Kenny. They'll want to come down and get involved in what you do here.
Hopefully so. I mean, this is why we built it. I grew up here, and these opportunities weren't here for me. I was writing poetry as a kid. I'd been through the care system, and I had a lot of trauma there that I was writing about, but no one to share it with, and no facility to help me unload that. And so I moved to Manchester, moved to Liverpool. I did music there, and I came back 3 years ago, and there's still nothing built here. And I was like, oh.
Well, you brought the love back to
Colwyn Bay. There's nothing here. We'll build it ourselves.
Exactly.
So we built it, and straight away the right people resonated to us. Brilliant. So that's how we know we're on the right path, because straight away we've got a team of say 10 volunteers, and we're able to provide opportunities for all of us. So it's not just a hierarchy of we've built this and this is ours. It is a community asset, and that's what we built.
That's so good. So if anyone would like to find out more about UAM, you've got a website, social media, I guess?
So our website is www.undergroundartistmovement.org. The socials are, Instagram is officially _UAM, and you can find us on Facebook, which is Underground Artist Movement.
And if you've got any questions and you want to get involved in the projects that UAM do, or maybe you've got a project you would like Kenny, Callum and also Shane to get involved with, get in touch.
When we say we're providing opportunities, the way we've built the studio, it's not for us, no one owns it as such. What we want to do is treat it like a hairdresser chair. So we're giving opportunities to budding producers, up and coming producers, to earn £20 an hour to work in our studio. We charge the studio out at £25 an hour, and we will give the producer £20 an hour to do that. So if they bring in 10 clients, they get 10 times £20. So it's on them to build up their resume and build up their portfolio as a producer.
It sounds a mutually beneficial relationship.
It's win-win for everyone involved. It's great.
It's brilliant. And there's a wall to the back which has got artists' names on, and there's probably about 5 or 6 on that. I expect to see that absolutely full next time we have a chat.
It's exactly what we want to see.
It's going to be stretching around.
The whole wall. We had our guest speaker in last week on Monday, and so we were like, he has to sign the wall before he goes.
Yeah.
So that was the first signature on there.
Around the city tonight, and I kiss you, but I know you got another. Maybe when tomorrow arrives, that'll be alright. Perfect first kiss, you said so. Giggling, watched too many movies from the get-go. Couldn't help watching how you land low. Play Norwegian wood on guitar, too bright for me, I let it grow. Today I see fire when I hear that song. I smell it in the fuselage of the planes that I've been on. And you know me, dead and iron in the streets. I'm on a sort of entourage with their faces looking wrong. And it's difficult to know what love is like. Maybe you knew, but I doubt it. Just living for what was the loudest. It never changed, yeah. It never changed, yeah. It never changed, yeah. Think I saw you on the A55 the other day, in a hurry, speeding past like you're in a hurricane. When we last spoke, you said you wanted to be full again. Can't be empty like that back before it fills with rain. And we'd sit there in the spring sun, talk about stuff, really just listen. Try and understand each other, not just fishing for any purpose other than that. The soul mission, and I hope you're well, like I hope that day for a future bright. Even with times decay, and your dad looked up on that Saturday before he died in the hospital room with the shade. Room with the shade emanating from the page. Blue cool machine turning, keep your heart burning with the same. Used to feel strange, fire straining out of blazes. A memory it fades, but I know it never changed, yeah. It never changed, yeah. It never changed, yeah. It never changed, yeah.
That was the track Never Changed by Yes Sekion, also known as Callum Nooks from Colwyn Bay's Underground Artist Movement. You also heard musical contributions from Shane Gordon, also known as Shaneo, and Kenny Clayton. You could find out more by going online and searching for UAM, or the Underground Artist Movement in Colwyn Bay. Next up, we hear from a very talented musician who, despite having a challenging illness, has been incredibly successful locally and in the Spotify and Apple Music charts. Here she is talking to Bayside Radio's Simon Wynn.
Hello, I'm Hannah Popey and I'm a local singer-songwriter, writing songs in my bedroom, producing them all. I'm a former College Llandrillo student and I'm based in Conwy.
So nice to have you here, Hannah. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm not too bad as well. It's great to see you after quite a long time.
Yeah.
When were you in to see us here at Bayside?
It was a while ago, wasn't it? Last time I did my POTS event, wasn't it? That was April, wasn't it?
Yeah, you did it in the Comrades Club.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just, at that particular point, released a song, hadn't you, which had done very, very well in Spotify. Tell me about that experience then.
Oh my God, that was a crazy experience. I never felt anything like that. So I was expecting my song Dream to Forget, it was just a bit of fun, really. I just wanted to get this song out there, and it was going on a college album, and I wasn't expecting anything from it. And it was on iTunes, and it got to 21 in the pop iTunes chart, which is crazy. I never thought that my song would be in the iTunes charts.
You must have really, really gone out there and impressed people to actually go and get that song.
I think I impressed myself. I was impressed by myself. It was crazy because obviously with the college they try and push your music out there, and they've had a bit of success in the past, but I didn't think that my song would actually be that successful. So yeah, it's really good.
And this was part of an album that was produced by the college. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we produced the album called High Society, and everyone in the class wrote a song, and we just put it all in one album. We all got together. It was like a collaborative thing, which I thought was really nice. Some people worked with songs together. I had another song on the album with another classmate called Scott Collison. But yeah, I think college is a really good place to just get collaborative with other musicians in the local area as well. So yeah, it was really nice to do an album together.
So the college itself, they have all the facilities, don't they?
Yeah.
What's the course called that you did?
So I did music technology and production. So it's based in like doing more production side, but they also do some live music, teaching you how to do live stage, PA systems, or stuff like that as well. So
it's everything from recording in the studio to actually going out there and doing it in a live environment.
Yeah, it's got a wide range of things as well. Also, it does like TV acting, so writing songs for TV, acting in TV, a bit of voice acting, stuff like that. So it's really a wide range of things you can do in the college. It's really good.
I think these days, with media being as it is, you have to be multi-skilled, don't you, these days?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that if you can, between your songs, do a little bit of comedy, that's kind of a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of the process then, because obviously you've got a passion for music and you've got some musical knowledge, but aside from that, sort of what happens in the college then? What's the process of making music? Take me through how you go from an idea into recording it.
Yeah, well, I think for everyone it's a different process, depending on the person. I mean, my process changes every time I write a song. I could have an idea, like, I don't know, I've heard someone say something, and I thought, oh, that would be a good lyric, and I write it down, and then I maybe get some chords on guitar and then start working from that. Or sometimes I go onto my Logic on my computer, put a beat down and then write lyrics over that. It's whatever really comes to mind, whatever flows best, really.
And technology is kind of quite an important part in the process these days.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So take me through the sort of the equipment that is in the college. You mentioned Logic. You mentioned when we were talking just briefly about AI helping the process. So how does that all work? Yeah,
so the college is actually trying to get this funded at the minute. I don't know if they've done it now because I've left college, but there's this AI tool. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Isotope. I think it's called Isotope. And they do this tool where you put a song in and you can let AI listen to the song, and then you put your song in with it and it masters the song like another song, if that makes sense. So if I say, for example, I like Billie Eilish and I wanted to sound a bit like her production, I could put her song in there, put my song in there, and then see what, and then it just it's just crazy. It's really crazy. I haven't really had a lot of experience with it, but it just mixes it itself, and it's I think it's going to be the future of music, really.
Wow, that's incredible. So you can sort of emulate a style.
Yeah.
I suppose in a sense, AI could help you sort of write a song as well. What's your view, though, as an artist, as a creative, though, about the fine line between AI kind of helping you and actually maybe creating something that isn't your own work?
Yeah, well, this is a big discussion at the minute, isn't it, about AI and taking people's jobs and all stuff like that. I feel like AI it's the way the future's going to go. Everything is moving forward. You're going to have to move forward with it, otherwise you're going to be stuck back in time. But I think AI is good for mastering and stuff like that, but I don't think an AI can create the emotion that a person wants to tell. Like, it's when you write lyrics, you're writing from the heart, and AI doesn't really have that. So I don't think it can write a song with emotion like a person can, but I think it can help like get ideas going and help with the production side. Definitely not writing the emotion, but
yeah, because that is the thing, isn't it? The most powerful songs in history have had a certain pathos, a certain empathy, haven't they, to it? And that's what, songs are all about. But, sort of formulaic music is kind of easy to produce, isn't it? But then at the end of the day, it doesn't stand out, does it? It's not individual.
No, it's people write about their life stories and stuff, and that's the emotion. I mean, I write a lot about my illnesses, and I don't think an AI can replicate that feeling and that emotion into a song. And I think that's really important for songwriting as well, putting your emotions into it.
And how important is music? Because I know you've been to talk to us about POTS. Tell me a little bit about your illness, and tell me a little bit about how music helps you sort of deal with that. Yeah,
so I was diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, very long word, and it affects me daily. I struggle to do any normal thing, really. My heart rate goes really fast, my blood pressure drops really low, I get fatigue, dizziness. It's undergoing things as well, so my health wasn't great, hasn't been great for years. But then I found music, and I thought maybe I can do something with this, because I was really sporty beforehand, loved playing football and stuff like that, but then I couldn't do that anymore. So I found music, and I was like, I really want to do this, I want to write about how I feel. And I wrote my first song, and it was called Stuck in My Mind. And it was just about me being stuck in my room, not knowing what I was going to do in my life, and then finding music and finding that's something that helps me.
And just by putting that down on paper and doing the composition, that has kind of helped you with your mental health?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like music is a massive tool for people to help mental health, because you just put down all your feelings on a piece of paper, and then you sing about it, and it's all that you're getting all your emotions out, you're getting all your feelings out, you're not keeping it bottled up inside. And I think it's really good.
In terms of how the music scene has changed, because we're in 2 previous programmes of our podcast, Music in the Bay, we've been talking about the venues, getting the music out there, and very often, it's been a case of performing on the stage in front of an audience, and that is kind of still very important now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But tell me a little bit about how maybe things have changed, how you maybe get the music out there. You mentioned Spotify and having great success, but tell me about the process of how social media and other platforms come into the sort of the surfacing of the music.
So nowadays social media is really important if you want to be a musician, and a lot of things now you can actually be an independent musician and get yourself out there, whereas back in the day you'd have to have a record label to get your music out and stuff. But nowadays you can be independent and get your music out yourself, which I think is great, which I do myself as well. And I think a lot of things like TikTok can really get your music out there. I know a lot of people have made hits from TikTok, and then people have found them off there. You can also do stuff like lives on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well, and YouTube. And you can perform to an audience that is online. Obviously you can't see them, but you can get thousands of people on there. I've done a few TikTok lives in my bedroom, and quite a few people have been on there listening to me. That also gets your reach out, and these people aren't just local either, they're all around the world, so it's crazy. And
you don't know who's listening as well, because it could be a record producer, it could be a record company executive. You don't know, do you?
You never know who's listening to you online. But I think that's what's really good about social medias and like going live on there and putting yourself out there, because you never know who's looking on there.
How do you sort of like stick your head above the competition, because obviously with social media and with digital media in general, there's so much of it. It must be hard to get noticed. What do you do to sort of get noticed?
Well, I'm yet to find out. No, I think you just have to be a bit different with what you're doing, with the way you're promoting your stuff, because obviously everyone's trying to do the same thing, everyone's in the same boat. Trying to stand out maybe with your style, with promotion, it's hard. I don't really know myself, but I would just say, just try your best to make yourself, what would you spot in another artist that you'd think, oh, that's what I want to be like, but take these inspirations off everyone and make that your own style, if you get what I mean.
The brand Hannah Popey.
Yeah, the brand. It's about the brand.
It is the brand, isn't it, when all's said and done? So the future for you, you've had a great song, which has done really, really well. And what's the future bringing to you then? Where are you heading then?
Well, I'm hoping I have some really exciting things coming up, some exciting live performances, and also new songs, new material coming out, hopefully, if my health stays good.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. It's been great to talk to you.
And you.
I think it's now time to play some of your songs, isn't it? Let's have a listen to them.
Thank you for having me.
Hannah Popey, thank you very much.
That was the rising star Hannah Popey with her track Dream to Forget. And if you'd like to find out more about her exciting work, just look for Hannah Popey Music online and on social media. You might also be interested in finding out about the music and technology courses which Hannah mentioned, and these are available locally at Coleg Llandrillo in Rows-on-Sea. In our final whistle-stop look at the music being made today, we head down the road to Llandudno, where we hear from an organisation which is encouraging many young people to take up their first steps in learning how to play in a band.
So I'm Mark Richardson and I run the Rock Project in North West Wales, and we're based in Llandudno. The Rock Project exists really to give young people a chance to play in a band. So we work with young people from the age of 7 right the way through to 18. We have a junior group, 7 to 12, and then our senior group. And the first hour of the session is learning a new song each week, and then the second hour is playing as a band. So we break down into smaller groups and do proper band rehearsals each week. So the original Rock Project was started in Denbigh, but it's now across the UK and internationally as well. And my son was, when he was 7, started learning to play bass guitar, wanted to be Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, and there was nowhere for him to play locally. And I was looking around, and the nearest place was in Denbigh, but the franchise for North West Wales was up for grabs. So I jumped on it, and that was about nearly 7 years ago now. So my son is now 15 and still playing bass guitar in Rock Project, and my daughter is 13 and she's singing in Rock Project, and we've had over 200 young people come through the door since then. We start with people who've never played in a band before, never played an instrument before. So our juniors in particular, we have a lot of people coming in who've literally never picked up an instrument before, and sometimes they don't even know which instrument they want to play. And we teach them everything they need to know, and week by week they get better and better. Usually with our seniors, people have played before, already know a bit about their instrument. But again, the level of knowledge of music varies massively. Some are still really learning the basics, and others of grade 8 and beyond and have been gigging for years. So it's a real mix, and that's one of the things that makes it great, the young people learning from each other. We have guitar, bass, drums and vocals. That's what we cover at Rock Project. And we're really lucky we've got some amazing tutors who are able to teach the young people their instrument, and also to teach the new song each week. And because all our tutors are gigging musicians, they're really experienced at playing in bands, so they can rehearse as a band, which is the idea. It gets people playing live music and then ready for gigs out in the open. I think it's important because there are a lot of people who love music and don't necessarily get a chance to play. And I think the music services in schools has been cut, so there's fewer opportunities in for orchestral music now. But if you're a young person playing in a band or wanting to play in a band, how do you get started? And unless there's sort of, you're lucky at school and you happen to have some friends who are also playing as well, you're a bit stuck. I grew up and had some friends. I was lucky. I had friends who did play, and we did rehearse in bands together, but most people don't have that opportunity. So this exists to bring together people who want to play music, and it's lovely because one of the best things about it is people finding friendships as well as playing music together. We actually do a gig each term, so we've got a really good partnership with the Motorsport Lounge. So Dave and Sally, who run the Motorsport Lounge, took us in right from the start, really, when they first opened up, and we do all our gigs there. Brilliant venue, so that's a really good opportunity. So each term, 3 gigs a year, and we also do a gig in Venue Cymru. We've been lucky enough to take part every year, so that's been really good, and that gives them an opportunity to play in the big theatre in front of 800 people, which is huge, certainly bigger than I ever played when I was a teenager. There's lots of opportunities to perform within Rock Project, but then quite a few of them, particularly the older group, they will go on and play another gig. So we've actually got one coming up in a couple of weeks' time as part of the Winter Sound series, and we've got 2 bands that have formed at Rock Project who are going to perform there. And then a lot of our students actually go on and do music further on as well. So we've had several who've gone to college to study music, get music degrees, many of them getting first. Actually, it's really nice to see, and now making their way in the world with world of music. One running a music promotion business, a couple have come back here as tutors. It's really nice to see that progress. I think a lot of young people start out now by actually recording. The home recording equipment is so advanced, and you can put stuff, upload it, and get it onto Spotify relatively easily. So quite a few of our students have done that and started to get themselves known that way. But there are loads of opportunities to play locally, especially if you're not wanting to be paid to start with. There are lots of free opportunities to play locally. It's much harder to make a living as a gigging musician. That's a much harder thing to do.
I'm a drummer, LON. I also sing. I've only recently got into singing this year. I've been drumming for quite a while here. I did learn drums here. I didn't do drums outside of Rock Project. And then I also got into singing, so I drum some things and I sing some things. A lot of songs that we do here are really, some of them are quite structural, so there's lots of different parts and that can be really difficult, but then some of them are just the same thing all the way through, and then that's a nice break. I used to do guitar here a long time ago, and I was just not at all very good at it, and I was like, I want to do drums, so I decided to try it and I really enjoyed it, so I stuck with it. And then a few of the songs I was like, oh, I fancy singing these, then I also did some singing as well. Definitely get involved, don't be shy, especially vocalists, like sing out, don't be scared. Try get involved in something like this, like get yourself a band, play music all the time, practice, enjoy yourself, don't stress about learning it, definitely do it as something you enjoy. And definitely try get yourself involved in something to play with other people, to make music, create music. It's really cool.
That was the young drummer and singer Ella Wen, talking about her enthusiasm for the Llandudno Rock project. And our thanks go out to Mark Richardson for introducing us to the group and the fantastic work they do to help young people take their first steps forward on the musical ladder. Now for some final words and a reflection on our musical journey, I'm joined by my colleague and co-presenter, Hugh Roberts.
Hi Dilwyn, how you doing?
Fine, great. Well, we've had quite an experience over the last 3 episodes of Music in the Bay, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you?
No, it's been terrific fun and also very educational for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I've taken an awful lot from it.
That's
right. Lots of really good memories.
Yeah.
Recording, with Stuart Lottin in the first episode there, and
absolutely
talking about, the Pier days, and I remember those very well.
Absolutely. And I was surprised to learn how involved you are with the music locally, with in Ross-on-Sea, and of course your involvement in the underground artist movement.
Yeah, I'm not so involved with it. I know them, but I'd like to get more involved with them. But I was surprised, really, looking back at it. I mean, how involved I have been over the music scene over the years. I've run a lot of open mic nights at most of the pubs around here, and I've gigged a lot and been in bands, and it's been quite. Don't blame me, I've done a fair bit, really. Looking back on it.
I mean, and that's, I thought, so important that people hear live music, and the fact that you're promoting events in pubs. I think that, for me, takes me way back to the 70s when there was of course in those days it was a busier time in terms of entertainment, but what surprised me about this programme is how much there is going on, how much you're involved, and the development of, we hope, a successful future for young musicians in the Bay.
I think so. I mean, I'm really heartened by the amount of musicians who are actually out there of all age groups, and a lot of people, the open mics seem to be like feeders for bands. I mean, I can name loads of people who've started off just cutting their teeth, first time I've ever played live at an open mic, and now they're all in bands, they're gigging, they're going around all over North Wales. It's really encouraging, it's terrific.
It's fantastic.
And we've heard some funny stories as well, haven't we? And some pretty shocking ones, actually, as well.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what also I've really enjoyed is finding out a lot more about the sort of wider variety and entertainment scene. I think a lot of it was covered in episode 2, wasn't it? I think, with Theatre Colwyn and the Four Oaks. And
that's right.
What was going on. And also in the first episode as well, actually, because Stuart remembers a lot of that.
Yeah, it was Stuart. Stuart Laughlin. And that, you see, he was involved in the Pier as well. Very much so. And of course, when he had a band as well, he worked in a couple of bands. But he's got some great stories.
He's got some cracking stories, and he still continues to build them, with all the panto he does. And
that's right. No, it's really all 3 episodes I found to be interesting, and things that I didn't realise were going on these days, and also the stories that we heard, especially from the bands like Richard Coleman, from Chalice, and of course the punk scene, which was
huge, and it's still bubbling along. Then who else? Well, you interviewed Gary Wilmot, which was terrific. So that was a really interesting interview as well, and some of his reflections on the area really enlightening. And just talking about all the bands that were about to break big on, on the heavy metal and the punk scene in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, they're big names now.
Yeah, so it's been a really interesting 6 months, really. We've been working on it, not far off, Hugh, and I'd like to thank you for all your input, because you're on a different generation and you're much closer to live music today than I am, and certainly your input's been really valuable.
Well,
Thanks.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, and we've just come a long way, haven't we? And it's just fascinating hearing your insights of an era which was just before me, and it's been really, again, educational, and it's been fun. It's been lovely working with you. So
it's been great fun. Thanks very much, Hugh.
It's a pleasure. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Well, we very much hope you enjoyed this episode of Music in the Bay. Don't forget you can also hear the first 2 episodes looking back at the rich musical history of Colwyn Bay on the Bayside Radio website. Thank you to our many contributors for making this recording possible, and to you for listening. Music in the Bay is a Bayside Radio production kindly supported by the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and the Creu Conwy Town Team.